Okay, we are recording. So this is the Soundview Commission meeting, June 22nd, 2020. And we have pretty much everybody here. The only person that is not here is Dave Kelsey. He called me earlier. He's got some family issues. So if there's no objection, I'll appoint Frank Murata as a voting member for Dave Kelsey.
Okay.
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 Good.
First order is to approve the minutes of May 26th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of May 26th.
I second it.
Any discussion?
Who was seconding? Is that Frank?
Yes.
That was Frank Murata, yeah. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay, motion passes. We'll go on to business. Connectivity grant update. We had a meeting this afternoon on the connectivity grant. Since our last meeting, we went through a variety of iterations for Hartford Avenue regarding sidewalks and buffer strips and driveways and so on and so forth. The original intent was to put in a 5-foot sidewalk with a approximately 2-foot concrete buffer strip and a concrete curb, one monolithic pour with some driveway improvements for the various residences. That would also include standardizing driveway entrances and driveway cuts. There would be we would not take away any driveways. We just standardize the width of each driveway. The second portion of that was the Shore Road portion, where Shore Road, once again, we're looking at sidewalks from the police station to Cross Lane on the north side. At the last meeting, we got some preliminary cost estimates, and the preliminary cost estimates brought us about $150,000 over budget. So what we did in this past meeting was kind of got back to basics, and our basics were public safety and sidewalks on Hartford Avenue and Shore Road. Much of our support is for the Shore Road sidewalks, the connectivity with those businesses up there. So we're relooking at the Hartford Avenue portion, which was by far far over budget than we anticipated. We looked at just the basics, and that's the 5-foot sidewalk with some improvements for drainage. And looks like we're very close to hitting our $400,000 mark by looking at that. The engineers right now are just trying to whittle that down and be a little bit more exact with their numbers. Today we did approve for BCS to submit to the DOT the preliminary design for Shore Road. Because Shore Road is a state road, state DOT has to approve any designs on Shore Road. Once again, Shore Road would be a 5-foot sidewalk on the north side, and it would be in from the street about 4 to 5 feet. And somebody's got to be muted, so I can hear somebody in the background. Could you all please mute? Somebody's talking in the background.
Sounds like a TV.
Yeah, well, we'll turn the TV off. So what we're doing is we're sending our preliminary design for Shore Road to DOT to get their approval or their comments back on it. Hopefully that'll come back in relatively short order, although we don't know what's going to happen because so far state DOT has not been responsive to any of our requests for information. We're going to give it a couple of weeks and see what happens. And if we don't get a response back, we will put some pressure on it. Mary Jo is going to try to get the people that issued the grant to get DOT to respond to us. Other than that, we're getting right back down to basics, and the basics are, public safety and some sidewalks, and to do our best with aesthetics as far as the dollars will take us. Once again, the whole objective on Hartford Avenue is to basically do no harm. We have some properties that have some water problems with drainage from the street, and everything we're doing is with the intent of not only the safety aspect of it for pedestrians, but also to create a better drainage situation that for those properties that do have a drainage problem. So, are there any questions of where we are so far on that? Okay. Well, I guess that's it. Hopefully by the next meeting, which is July 6th, it's the Monday after the 4th weekend. Once again, these are open public meetings, so I would encourage anybody who has interest to join in with that meeting. You could also go onto the town website, and the drawings so far have been updated in there. There will be some new updated drawings of the sidewalk on Hartford Avenue. Once again, the drawings that we have on Hartford Avenue do include a 2.5-foot stamped concrete buffer strip and a concrete poured curb. We are going to eliminate the buffer strip, the concrete buffer strip, and the poured curb, and go with an bituminous asphalt curbing and a grass buffer strip. So it would be bituminous asphalt curbing, grass buffer strip, sidewalk, and then sloping down to the individual residences.
Hey, Frank, it's Michaela. I just remember that at the last meeting, we discussed that we were all in favor of the concrete curb because the asphalt will get ground up by the snowplows.
It's a matter of cost. We have $400,000, and the cost for the concrete curb and the buffer strip was just put us way over $150,000 over budget. And so much of our community support is for Shore Road sidewalks. We felt we better get back down to basics and get the sidewalks and the pedestrian safety aspect of it covered. And then later on down the road, if there's additional funds available to put in concrete curbs and concrete buffer strips, all well and fine. But at this point in time, we just simply don't have the funding. End up looking
really after the first winter.
It's the curbs there now are not that bad, and I can't imagine that that one winter is going to be a disaster for that. I think that we just simply don't have the money. It's the bottom line is we don't have the money, and there don't seem to be any grants available to us for that. So we've already checked into that to see if that was available. So we could go back and redo that at some point later on down the road when more grant money is available. But in the meantime, right down to basics. Let's get the sidewalks in, the pedestrian safety. Let's get the sidewalks in on Shore Road so that we can do that.
All right, thank you.
Are we also Are we also going to have still have the bus stop?
Yeah, that's kind of a side issue with this whole thing, because the grant is not paying for the bus stop. We're looking at the bus stop as being basically an area in that space up there. But the arrangement is the contractor doing the water lines is using that yard as a laydown yard, and the arrangement we made with him is to cut in a road for our bus stop as payment for that laydown yard. So the design will be kind of general in scope, and then it'll be basically a packed gravel road so that the buses can pull in there. And Tim is working with the bus company to get a bus shelter up there too. So the whole idea is to get the people off of Route 156 waiting for the bus, and to give them a safe place to wait and for the buses to pull off of the road.
Hey, Frank, this is Harry. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, well, that's what we're here for.
I find that, and I travel by there 2-3 times a day, that more people are walking on the south side than they do the north side. Why wasn't there any? Yeah.
We only have 2 properties on the south side that really are that have businesses, and that's the gas station and the mini mart.
Yeah, but there are people that walk up from the beaches going past the church. I mean, there are more people that walk on the south side than on the north side.
Our objective is connecting to the businesses up there, and the north side is where all the businesses are. You know, Teddy's and I forget what the name is. The old Pizza Plus, the package store, and that's where the commercial properties are. So we felt as though with proper cross.
I thought we were talking about, you know, pedestrian safety.
Most definitely. There's going to be proper crosswalks here, and we can only afford sidewalks on one side of the road. So the side of the road with the businesses is more likely to be used in the future. We'll have crosswalks, but we can't put sidewalks on both sides of the road. It's just the money isn't there.
No, I understand. I understand that, but there's more pedestrian traffic on the south side than there is on the north side.
I think this is Michaela. I think that's only because the businesses are on the other side and you have cars coming out of those driveways, so it's not as safe to walk on the north side right now. But if you had sidewalks there, people would use that north side. And especially people would use that to get to cross lane instead of having to cross that really dangerous crosswalk from across 156 to get to cross lane. So I think if you put sidewalks on the north side of the street so you can get to Pizza Plus and you can get to Teddy's and you can get to the package store, people will walk on the north side instead of the south side. Sidewalks attract people.
Yeah, and there will be properly marked crosswalks to get them across the street at the top of Hartford Avenue. You can go online to the town website, and that information should be there. Once again, as soon as we get some information back from DOT, we can go with that. Like I said, our next meeting, hopefully we'll have that information, and we'll be able to be a little bit more definitive in terms of cost and what we can afford and what we can't afford. And then once again, the next meeting is July. Right now, we've posted it for July 6th, hoping that we'll have some information back from DOT and some more refined cost estimates. The information that we have gotten in kind of anecdotally through the DOT that has been administering the connectivity grants is that most of the quotes have been coming in at or below estimated costs. So we're not looking for any gigantic surprises in terms of costing. Our cost estimates do include a 10% contingency plan, and we did ask the consultants today regarding surprises, what might exist, and he didn't feel as though we would be. He didn't feel as though there would be anything likely to crop up on Hartford Avenue because we're not digging very deep. It's a very just shallow dig. We pretty much know where everything is. He doesn't believe that there's going to be any potential on Shore Road either. Once again, we really don't know until we get some feedback from DOT on this. We submitted the thing to DOT regarding Shore Road using all of their standards and all of their procedures. So shouldn't be a problem, but we won't know until we get information back. Any other comments, questions? Okay, Connecticut Water. Connecticut Water is proceeding. They've got all of Swan Avenue mains in. Portland Avenue mains in, and they're working on a small section on Pond Road. They have requested an extension in their work on the Southview proper area. And I'm not sure if Tim has given them that extension or not. They requested another 3 or 4 days to finish up Pond Road. If they don't get that, they'll just go back to Pond Road after Labor Day. But meantime, like I said, Swan Avenue and Portland Avenue are pretty much, the mains are already in, and they'll be working on Shore Road and the extensions over the course of the summer. I have no new information regarding sewers other than letter was written to the WPCA by the Southview Sewer Coalition. It's been posted. Its information is on Connecticut Examiner, and I think that there are some information was brought forth at the Board of Finance meeting the other night. The next WPCA meeting is in a couple of weeks, so we might have some more information regarding that particular letter.
Oh, yeah, good boy.
People need to move. People need to move.
I would appreciate it if everybody except for the commissioners would please mute yourselves, or I will do it for you.
I need to do it, Frank.
Yep, I think it will if I can figure out who they are.
Well, that's better.
All right. I don't know who it was, but I muted everybody except for us. I think we all should be able to speak here. Frank Ron is muted. No, I'll unmute him. All right. Next item is each review. What's everybody's feeling on how things are going down at on the sand?
Well, I think that from what I can see, this is Joanne speaking. From what I can see, they're coming in early and then they get stopped because the beach is full. And I think that's going well as far as monitoring that. I don't go on the beach, so.
Frank?
Can you hear me?
Frank, what's it like for you down there? Yeah, you were
Rocky
muted.
Neck fills up by 9 o'clock every, and Hammonasset, they're full by 9 o'clock in the morning. No one's working, so, I mean, it's nothing what it should be, but it is what it is.
Rocky Neck is closed early too.
Yeah.
I got a couple of very nice comments regarding the work that our rangers and police are doing, keeping track and keeping everything under control. It was refreshing to see some very positive things coming forth on what the residents in the area are feeling about the police and the rangers. Anybody else have any thoughts or comments regarding that?
Frank,
Yeah,
this is Paul.
go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Paul.
Let me just weigh in a little bit based on what I'm saying. First of all, our rangers and our resident trooper are doing a phenomenal job this year as far as I'm concerned. They're not tolerating any issues. They appear to be very strict on the cooler size. They're not letting them through even if they're clear without alcohol. They are enforcing the 30-minute business spots quite well. I mean, before this year, they were kind of a joke because they weren't ticketed. They are ticketed now. They're trying to enforce a 6:30 lockdown of the town parking lot. That appears to be going well. One thing I have noticed, however, and it's probably going to need some more coordination, don't see the private lots at adhering to a 50% reduction in their capacity. And I think that's leading to a problem with them filling up. The beaches are full, and there's a lot of loitering starting to go on. But they're not, like I say, they're not adhering to the 50%. They're letting people come in. There's no coordination. Miami Beach, I think, is somewhat out of control. There was one instance of a hookah pipe out there with no range, with no enforcement. There was there's virtually no social distancing. So there are some issues going on, but I think overall, it's really refreshing to see a little bit more control down here.
Yeah, I think that the whole social distancing issue is that it's not up to the town to enforce social distancing, whether it be on Miami or whether it be on Soundview. Our objective is to populate the beach so that social distancing can exist if desired. So in other words, that's where the capacity issues are. Obviously, you're not going to tell a family that they have to be 6 feet apart. They live in the same house. So
right,
by not populating the beach, overcrowding the beach, it gives everybody the opportunity to social distance as they see fit and as they desire. As far as the Miami Beach is concerned, it's not up to the town to police Miami Beach. They will go onto Miami Beach and police as requested by Miami Beach, but it's not the town's responsibility to police Miami Beach. So my information is that they'll go on as requested by the Miami Beach people.
Hey, Frank. I've been to the beach every day this week, and I did see there was a state trooper and a ranger in that little beach vehicle, and they went up and down the beach all the way to Hawk's Nest, and then came back and did the whole beach again. And it's actually kind of obnoxious because it's like a diesel vehicle and it's kind of annoying, but they were out there. And today there was actually 3 rangers walking the beach from Soundview to Miami and back. So they're actually on the sand today.
That's good. That's good. Like I said, or like we said, this is it's a great change, and it's I think they're doing the best they can with the circumstances that they're dealt with. I think they're doing a pretty good job.
They're doing an excellent job, an outstanding job.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. And the new resident trooper is very committed to doing that job.
Well, that's good. Yes.
Angelo,
Yes, Angelo.
I just wanted to piggyback on what Paul said. I think they are doing a great job. And my understanding is when they went by on the beach the other day with that wagon, that they confiscated a bunch of booze and gave out tickets.
Yeah, and that day, Angelo, they gave out 20 tickets.
Yeah. So they are going on to Miami Beach, and they're going wherever there's a problem.
Good. Like I said, I received some text messages that were very complimentary with our police and our rangers. So it was like very refreshing this year to see that and to get that information, that feedback. I'll pass this along to our resident trooper and just tell them that we feel things are going nicely and keep up the good work.
Frank, this is Kathleen Tracy. Can I talk now, or do you want me to wait for public comment?
No, Kathleen, we kind of hold these meetings a little bit more informal, because it's a conversation here. We're the commission, but we really need to hear what the residents are talking about. So go ahead, Kathleen. Just be recognized.
Okay, great.
That's it.
There's a couple things. First of all, I've seen a number of different folks on the beach with hookah pipes. My attitude was, if other people are smoking, are they supposed to be smoking? Is it okay? Are hookah pipes? I mean, nobody says you can't smoke on the beach. I wish they would say that, but the reality is Are hookah pipes allowed on the beach? Because I've seen them excessively. I mean, I've seen at least 3 different people over the last couple of weeks with hookah pipes. That's one subject. And I don't know, I guess, are they illegal? Are they?
Smoking is not prohibited on the beach.
So then how could hookah pipes be illegal? It's just, they're smoking. But that's okay. That's just, feedback to you. But I've been very happy with the Rangers on the Hartford Avenue side. I'll say this. I'm really concerned about how people are getting let on the beach. I know that there's a quota for Hartford Avenue, and when Hartford Avenue gets its 70 or 75 people for Soundview Beach, the big sign goes up saying old line beaches are closed, they're full. But the truth of the matter is, Miami Beach is not full, and it's accessible, free access to the public. And so it's a mixed message saying, okay, the beaches are closed when actually they have access to Miami Beach. And so several times this week when I have gone to Miami Beach, I went in with my, 2 nieces, and I was told, well, the beach is closed. I said, how many people are on the beach? So they're saying 530 something. I said, well, I thought the limit for this beach was 638. Yes, it is. Do you have a pass? Are you an owner? And I said, yes, I am. I don't think I need a pass, however. We were told we don't need a pass. And they said, well, we're saving spots like for beach people, like no more public can get in, only the people who own it, the beach can come in. To me, this is an extremely huge violation of the public's rights. It's like that beach could be 638, first come, first serve, and if you're, after 538 or whatever the number is, then nobody else can get on. And my attitude is, if I don't get on because there's too many on the beach, but they shouldn't be saving spots. I don't understand. And then I know that there's people who are frustrated because this is the direction from the town. And then Miami Beach Association members, I believe, are making other kinds of recommendations to the people who are. And I understood one of the guards there who was taking people in quit because it was so frustrating with the information changing back and forth and back and forth. To me, this is a big issue that needs to be addressed.
Kathleen, maybe I could fill in some of the blanks for you. You bring up a good point regarding the signage that says Soul Line Beach is closed, where there still may be space available in Miami, and I will check into that with signs. I'll check into that with Matt, with the resident trooper, just to make sure we're consistent. I think consistency is important here. Regarding holding spaces on Miami Beach for any residents or permit holders or anything else, it's specifically stated, and Tim, First Selectman Griswold, has specifically given the information to the president of the Miami Beach Association, and has stated, this is what the town attorney said, this is what the decision has said, and anything they do beyond that is at their own peril. So
what did Tim say? Tim said what?
Tim said the letter that he gave him is that the pretty much what the decision says, that the beach is open to the public, period. Right. There's no reservation of space for property owners, for residents, for taxpayers. It's open to the public on a first come, first served basis. That is the letter that Tim forwarded to Gary Fox, the president of Miami Beach Association. So
they're not following that.
They're not following that. I mean, I'm not sure where we go from there, and maybe we can talk offline and find out a little bit more on what we can do with that.
Well, there's one more thing I want to say, but on that regard, I'm saying, well, maybe the town trooper and their rangers should be getting people on and off at that location, and not Miami Beach personnel who are biased and are saving spots no matter what they're being told by the town. Maybe they should not have that responsibility. And then
right now, the town is taking the position that Miami Beach Association has to monitor their own beach. That's the position they've taken, right or wrong, but that's the position that they've taken. And I'm not sure whether that's comes from the town attorney or whether that's just a policy decision that was made in our own town hall. But
they're not going to
but
follow
that-
the
but
rules,
that-
though.
but-
They should be made
but
to
that's-
follow the rules. If that's the
Beside,
case.
that's beside the point, Kathy. The point, bottom line is that the town specifically has forwarded the information to Miami Beach and has specifically said it is 635 people on your beach, first come, first serve. You cannot reserve spaces for residents, for permit holders, for anybody else. No reservation.
And how are they held
600
accountable to that law? They have to be held accountable to that. That's my point. They're not doing it, because 3 weeks ago they're asking me for a pass and we were doing it, and then it was clarified. And then, you know, it seemed like they weren't doing it, but the reality is this weekend they were doing it again. They were asking again. So they're not following that rule, and I wanted to make that clear, and I think it needs to be restated yet again. All right. The other issue.
I will ask Tim to reissue the letter and to be a little bit more forceful in that. Beyond that, I think that we're going to need to go back to the attorney that handled the lawsuit and get them to get that attorney to write a little bit more of a forceful letter. I know that the town attorney has written it. Tim has stated it. I don't know what else we can do from a town perspective. Okay. The town attorney has agreed with it. It said this is the decision, period, case closed. Tim has written a letter to the Miami Beach Association. He said this is the way it is. I mean, short of the town taking over the beach, which we don't have the jurisdiction nor the authority to do so, okay, that has to be within the Miami Beach.
I don't know. I'm not going to get into that.
I think we need to move on.
Yeah.
I think we need to move on.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I wanted
Okay.
to just make it clear. I just wanted to make it clear what the town's position, what I've been told the town's position is. Other than that, I will check on the closed signs because that's kind of an important thing, and I think that we need to be consistent on that. That's important.
Frank, there is one more thing of safety that I'm really worried about, because they have an entrance and an exit on Hartford Avenue, and that's fine. But the problem is the exit is right next to the bar, and the people are lining up next to the bar, so that these people are practically rubbing elbows when they're exiting the beach. And I said, you know what, that doesn't make the exit safe, because you're not able to 6-foot distance because of the way they have it. And so I don't know how they can do that, but I would like to have that relooked at.
Once again, our public safety people have reviewed that, and that's what they believe is the most effective and the best compromise that can be made. So I mean, I'm not gonna argue with Dave Roberge and Matt Weber. This is what Dave Roberge is very specific about the public safety aspect of it. So I'll ask, but I think that they have looked at that situation. Are there any other comments regarding? Are there any other comments regarding the beach? Anything else regarding that?
Thank you. No, I'm good. Thank you.
I'd like to go on events. We don't have any events, and right now it doesn't look like we're going to have any events unless something drastically changes that allow us to do something in August. But I don't see that as occurring right now. I just got something in from the American Federation of Musicians regarding concerts and things of that nature, and for guidelines. It just would be undoable in the location we have down at the end of the street. So, like I said, unless something changes, I'll pass it along as soon as I see something that allows us to have a concert. Facilities, Michaela, I looked up the facility usage request form. Remember we discussed that regarding wedding ceremonies on the beach?
Yeah.
Okay, I did look up the town usage form. It really doesn't address anything like that. I think if we want to add that to the usage facilities usage form, we can come up with some basic guidelines regarding how long they could be there. Can they put chairs out? Can't they put chairs out? How much space can they consume? So on and so forth. And then we can submit it to the town to find out whether that would be acceptable to them. So you want to come up, do you want to come up with some sort of guidance there on that?
Yeah, I guess so. I think that, we have a little bit of time since obviously nobody's having weddings on the beach right now with the restrictions, so.
Yeah, we probably have a year or so to do that, so.
I think
it would be a good idea.
Try to come up with situations that, we would want to encourage and situations that we'd want to avoid, so.
Yeah. So it gives you a little time to come up with something, so I don't know, what do you think, if you want to?
On season or off season, like people are allowed to walk their dogs, when it's not the beach season, and we could same for, for events that we could be a little looser about it. But Memorial Day to Labor Day, I think, you have to really keep the beach for bathing.
We can look at that and look at the town usage form and see if there's anything on that makes sense. And I encourage you can just go on the town website and it'll give you facilities usage form. You can see what they say for Hayes Park and everything else in there.
Okay.
Hey, Frank, this is Paul again. I would just caution and urge that you kind of bounce this off of Matt Willis and get his read on this because of liability, town liability.
Well, we already have facility usage in the town, so it would follow along with that premise. So,
okay.
It's a matter of if we want to put some policy on it rather than telling people go to the beach, have your ceremony at your own risk. If we want to put some guidelines or some guideposts on it, then at least we have the ability to do so if we decide that would be a good thing. And once again, the jury's out. We need to look at that and decide whether it's something we want to even get into. But we have
you don't want to end up being a wedding venue.
Right. We have had over the course of time many requests. And personally, when I tell them it's a public beach, use it at your own peril. You just can't put up chairs. If you want to have a private location, there's two restaurants on the beach with sand in front of them. Contact either the Pavilion or Kokomo's and make an arrangement out with them. Giving them those options. So, but we ought to just look at it because it is a public beach, and other public facilities do have ability for people to use similarly. There was some question regarding beach parking passes parking passes regarding what's acceptable, what is unacceptable, where you can park, where you can't park. I checked the town website. I found some discrepancies on the town website regarding beach parking passes. I sent a note regarding those discrepancies to Matt Weber, and to Tim. Matt responded within an hour, a couple hours. He said, "Thanks very much. I'll take care of it." And I got an email back from Michelle Norn today that said she's updating the town website. In general, the beach parking pass referred to the old passes where there were registration numbers and it had to be affixed to the windshield and so on and so forth, as opposed to now where they're just a hanger off of the mirror hanger. So I made some changes and some clarifications. Also, the fact that there's 10 reserved spaces for permitted parking passes in the town lot. However, the parking pass does allow usage of any paid parking space on the street or the town lot. So that should be updated in the next day or two to help any situation, to help clarify what's going on down there.
If I may, it's Brian.
Yeah.
Hi, if I can jump in for a second, regarding the beach parking passes, we had a conversation, my wife and I today, with Tim, because have you seen some of my emails? We've had an ongoing situation with parking passes. what you just stated, and you're the man, but they're telling us that this year that if you have a beach parking pass and all of the resident permit spots there along that one side are taken up, you cannot park somewhere else in a parking lot. So there's still a discrepancy there, I believe, Frank.
I will get that clarified because I sent this out last week and I got an okie dokie from everybody. So I'll have to get that clarified tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Because we did have that conversation with Tim this morning. So I think there's still a little bit of confusion. And if the Rangers could stop playing hacky sack underneath the trees, maybe they could be monitoring the parking lot a little bit closer for us too.
If there's been a change in protocol and policy, then it probably would have been appropriate for either us to be part of that conversation or at least be informed. I will follow up on that tomorrow.
Okay, Frank, thank you very much.
Yep. Dave Kelsey's not with us this evening. We do have a couple of new trash cans that we'll be purchasing to replace some of the damaged ones that are there. And I did get a quote for some of the Center Road stop signs today. They're $375 a piece. I'm checking to find out whether we can get them with extra heavy bases so that they don't get moved or stolen. This year, I did talk to the sign guy, and this is recommended by Ed Dante, the sign person. We'll be looking at the signs with the spring-loaded pedestals. So if somebody does run over them, it pops back up. It just folds down and pops back up again. So the damaged signs that we encountered in the last go round hopefully will be minimized. We're looking at 4 signs: 2 for Hartford Avenue, 2 for Swan Avenue, and 2 for Portland Avenue. One side will say stop, and the other side will say slow. This weekend it was a drag strip on Sunday afternoon. They didn't even slow down at the stop signs. Didn't even slow down. So it was just it was scary. It was scary. So those are on next year's budget. As soon as I can get a final cost and specification, I'll review it with Matt Weber and Ed Dante, and if it's okay with them, we'll purchase those signs. We've already approved them in our own budget conversations here. So unless anybody has any strong objection, I'll just move along with purchasing those signs. Do I hear any objection?
Nope.
That's pretty much it. Best Way gas station, we're still waiting for a letter regarding the LED lighting. Michaela, you were going to look into that?
I told you that they stopped, they turned those off.
Yeah, I thought we were, okay. So it's a non-issue?
Yeah, but we still need to talk about the sign, so I'll get you something.
Okay. I don't have any other business. Commissioners, are there any other business? Yeah.
Frank, down on Hartford Avenue, the road needs to be swept. There's sand on both sides of the road.
Okay.
Frank,
I know the town bought a brand new road sweeper a few years ago. I thought they liked driving that thing around. I'll ask Gary, Ed, what the story is there.
hey Frank, I got one quick question. Why aren't there any garbage pails on Miami Beach?
Good
The
question.
beach itself?
Yeah, like every 100 feet or something like that.
Years ago, I used to have garbage cans on the beach, and they decided that they didn't want them on there.
Well, they shouldn't complain. Everyone complains about all the garbage that's thrown in front of their houses and everything. I mean, it's just a simple solution.
Agree.
Put garbage. I mean, they can't expect people to. Well, you should expect people to put their garbage away. But I mean, if every 100 feet they'll walk to it, now they're just gonna leave it right there. I just don't get it.
You know what, Frank? I remember when those garbage cans were there, and they were always overflowing, and half the people didn't use them anyway. It was so much worse, and nobody wanted to sit near them because they were always overflowing and disgusting, and they attracted seagulls. So I think that there should be trash cans outside Miami Beach, which there currently are not.
Right. I agree
So
with
at
that.
the exit, like when you're leaving the beach.
Yeah, like they do
Only
at
one
South
exit,
Beach.
right?
Same thing.
Yeah,
One exit, that's lot B11.
yeah.
People are not going to carry their garbage from the beach to the entrance to dump their garbage. They're leaving it on the beach because I clean it up every day now.
Well, then they should
What
get
if
that.
the Rangers were to give little plastic bags to the people? Maybe they'd walk back with their garbage to the pails on Hartford Avenue.
They're going to leave the plastic garbage bag on the beach.
Mm.
Yep.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Frank, people don't have respect. They just don't have
I
respect
know.
for property. It's really disgusting. It's a respect issue. I agree with you. I'd like to see trash cans on the beach to some extent too, but it's Miami Beach and we can't do anything about it. You know, we can suggest and help facilitate the best we can, but there's really not much more we can do about it. So, any other business?
Frank, I have a couple comments. Can you hear
Who is
me?
that? Yeah,
Gail.
who's that? Yeah, okay, hold on, Gail. Just any other business from the commissioners?
None for me.
Now we'll go to public comment. Okay, Gail.
I have just a couple of comments. One is I was over to Beach Bums and somebody was there, just to reiterate what you said before, where they went to get on the beach and Hartford Avenue was closed and they walked away thinking they couldn't get on the beach because nobody told them they could go over to Miami. There's no sign or no arrow saying, this beach is closed, but you can go to Miami. So I want to just echo that. The other thing is somebody told me that the Rangers did a nice job. There were people down there with alcohol in their coolers, and the Rangers found it and told them they had to leave the beach. So they were pleased to see they were monitoring that. The other thing is Joanne Papasino was very upset about the negative signs that were in front of the cottage on the corner of Martino and Hartford Avenue. And as far as I know, they're still there. So she wanted me to bring that up.
Well, thank you. Unfortunately, there's no ordinance in town that says they can't put up negative signs. It is a free speech. I know that there's a fine line between free speech and hate speech, and unfortunately, the property owner there doesn't seem to feel as that's a problem, which I'm very surprised at. Best we can do is support our police and rangers and public service people as best we can.
Who owns that house?
Dino and Heidi.
Oh.
Need you ask?
Enough said.
Yeah, the signs are disgusting. They don't have any purpose in the
I
sound.
have a rapport with Dino. Maybe I'll take a stab at it. It's disgusting. It really is.
Yeah.
And he, as the property owner, can demand that those are taken down.
Yeah. I'll try to take a stab at it this week.
What I heard was that the tenants had put it up, but
the tenants put it up, but Dino, as the property owner, can mandate that they get removed.
I agree. I just wanted it clear that my understanding is he didn't put it up. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody, I think, is aware.
But I think, Frank, that would be great if you could talk to him because it's been an upset by a number of different people that have called me.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Hey, Gail, this is Paul Orzel. Just to your first comment, the Rangers are directing folks once the Hartford Avenue strip is filled I hear the rangers to every person directing them either down back to Pond Road and to make a left and to enter Miami Beach that way, or they're directing them to the pavilion entrance. So the rangers are doing that.
I think that's great, but I think the problem was the people didn't talk to the rangers. They just saw the sign that said closed.
No, there's a sign that says Miami Beach this way.
What they did this past weekend is they actually put the barricades down here in front of the flag planter. They stationed a ranger there so that before the people even walked up to the beach at the corner of Pond and Hartford, the ranger then instructed them.
Oh, that's
Okay.
great. Okay, thank
That's
you.
great.
Thank you.
All right, problem
Okay.
solved. How you like that? So, great. We could suggest that on those little signs that direct people to Miami Beach that it says open to the public. I might mention that to Matt and see if we can do that.
Right. And if that sign wasn't flashing full when Miami Beach was not, that sign should go on when all the beaches are full. And if that changed, that would also be helpful.
Well, I'll talk to Matt and find out what the rationale is. I'm sure he's got a rationale, and I certainly don't want to jump into a public safety debate with our public safety people. But I will explain the logic that we have here, and he'll either accept it or not.
Well, especially if they're saying Soundview Beach is closed, that's one thing. But if they're saying Old Line beaches are closed when Miami Beach is still a public access beach that is open, that's incorrect information.
So Old Colony also, I mean, it's like, we're just talking about the public part of it. And yes, Miami Beach is public. However, it's also private.
It's still Miami Beach. It's still Miami Beach.
Right.
You have to be very clear about this, Kathleen, is that Old Line beaches are 70 feet at the end of Hartford Avenue and 20 and 30, 40 feet at the end of Swan Avenue. Those are Old Line beaches. Now,
50 feet,
Miami Beaches may be open to the public, but it is not an Old Line beach. It is Miami Beach. Just like Old Colony is Old Colony, and
It's different, Frank.
Old Line Shores is Old Line Shores.
Old Colony is different because they don't have public access. And same with the.
I don't want to get in semantics with you here. I'll talk to Matt and find out.
It's a legal issue, and you're not yes on that.
I will talk to Matt and find out, what the rationale is. But it's good to hear that the Rangers are directing people to Miami Beach. Any other public comment?
Frank, I have one quick one to follow up.
Who's beeping?
Yeah.
Brian, I'm sorry. Somebody's got some wicked feedback. Frank, it's Brian.
Yes, sir.
Just to follow up, when you talked to Tim about those parking passes and such, in the town parking lot, space number 279 is a permit parking place, but someone took the sign down back just before the season started. So he might want to look at that, see if they could put that back up also. I think that's making a little confusion too. Thank you. Thanks, Frank. I appreciate it.
Just wrote that down here. Any other public
You're the
comment?
best.
Yeah,
You're the best.
depending on who you
Right
talk to. Any other public comment?
Thank you.
Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
You have a motion to adjourn.
Any second on that motion?
Come on, Frank.
Did everybody leave?
No.
Frank, second the motion. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
right, thank you. Thanks, everybody. I'll take care of these things and we'll see everybody at the next meeting. Anything else, just send an email. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, the Petty Annie's shut.
Bridge is open, bro.
Huh?
Bridge is open.
Yeah. Petty Annie's shit that goes on with these.